Logan stood near the large window of the Earth Embassy, looking out at the stars. He had been part of many missions in his career, but this one was different. He had saved a life, not just any life, but the life of King Draval, ruler of the powerful Zarian Empire. It happened during a diplomatic meeting on a space station. A group of rebels tried to assassinate the king. Logan acted fast. He pulled the king out of harm's way and stopped one of the attackers. He was injured in the process but survived. When the king recovered, he made a grand announcement. In the Zarian tradition, a life debt had to be repaid. Since Logan had saved his life, the king offered a gift. That gift was his youngest daughter, Princess Valari. She would be sent to Earth as a symbol of peace. The king said Logan must marry her. It was a way to bind the two people together. Logan was shocked. He had never met the princess and never wanted to marry anyone this way. Earth's leaders were unsure. They held many meetings and long talks. Some said it was a great chance to keep peace. Others felt it was wrong. But in the end, they agreed. Logan would do it. The marriage would not be real in the beginning. It was just a symbol. But Logan had to live with her, teach her about Earth, and make her feel welcome. When Valari arrived, Logan saw a tall, pale woman with glowing blue eyes. Her skin was smooth and silver. Her long white hair was tied with thin silver bands. She wore a dark cloak and did not smile. She said very little and did not look at Logan. Her face showed no emotion. She looked more like a statue than a person. The wedding was held in a quiet room. Only a few people were present. There were no cheers or music. Logan stood beside her, saying words he barely understood. Valari spoke in her soft voice, looking past him the entire time. After the ceremony, she followed him into the embassy like a shadow. She had a private room and stayed there most of the time. Logan tried to talk to her. He brought her food, books, and small gifts. She took them without a word. He spoke slowly, using simple words. Still, she gave only short answers. She did not eat much. She sat by the window for hours, looking at the sky. One day, Logan entered her room with a plate of warm soup. He placed it on the table and said, "It's homemade. I made it myself." She looked at him for the first time. Her voice was quiet. "Why do you keep trying?" Logan sat down. "Because you're not just a gift. You're a person. I want to help you feel at home." She did not reply. But that night, when Logan passed her room, he saw the empty bowl on the table. Days passed. Slowly, things changed. Valari began to ask questions. She asked about the sun, the trees, the music playing in the halls. Logan showed her old films and simple songs. She watched with interest, though she still rarely smiled. One evening, they sat on a bench in the embassy garden. The stars were bright. Valari spoke first. "My father never looked at me the way you do. Like I matter." Logan turned to her. "You do matter. You're not just a symbol to me." She looked down. "At home, I was always a forgotten one. The youngest. No one cared what I did. Sending me here was easy for them." Logan was quiet. He had guessed this might be the truth, but hearing it from her made his chest ache. "Well, you're not forgotten here. Not by me." She looked up at him. Her eyes were soft now, not cold. "Thank you." That small word meant a lot. Logan knew this was the start of something new. She was still quiet, still distant, but she was opening up, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. As he walked her back to her room that night, Logan felt a strange feeling in his chest. He had agreed to this marriage out of duty, but now he wondered if there was something more waiting ahead. Valari sat by the window again, but this time she was not just staring at the stars. She was watching the people in the garden below. Some of the staff walked and laughed, and others watered plants. It was peaceful. Earth was different from her world. There was noise, but there was also kindness. Logan came into the room with 2 cups. He handed one to her. "It's called hot chocolate," he said with a smile. "Sweet. Try it." She took it with both hands. It was warm and smelled strange, but pleasant. She took a small sip and closed her eyes. It was good. "You like it?" Logan asked. "Yes," she said, and for the first time, there was a small smile on her face. He sat beside her. "You know, I used to drink this when I was a kid. It reminded me of winter. Winter? She asked. It's when everything gets cold and snow falls. You would like snow. It's soft and quiet. Valari nodded slowly. We do not have snow. Our world is dry and red. Cold is rare. Every day after that, Logan brought something new for her to try. He showed her books with pictures of mountains, oceans, animals, and cities. He told her about Earth's many cultures and people. Valari listened carefully. She had never been taught about Earth. She had only been told that humans were loud and simple. But now she saw they were also kind and curious. One day, Logan asked, "Would you like to go outside?" "Not far, just to the city park. I think you'd enjoy it." Valari looked unsure. "Will people stare?" "Maybe," he said, "but that's okay. They will be curious, but they won't hurt you. I'll be with you." She thought for a moment and then nodded. "Yes, I want to see the park." They left the embassy in a small car. She sat beside Logan, watching everything with wide eyes. The city was full of color and movement. Lights, people, and buildings passed by quickly. At the park, Logan helped her out. She looked at the tall trees, green grass, and children playing. She took a deep breath. "It smells alive." Logan laughed. "Yes, it does." They walked slowly. Some people noticed her, but no one came too close. A little girl waved at Valari. Valari raised her hand in return, unsure how to wave. But the girl giggled and ran back to her mother. "You did well," Logan said. Valari felt something strange. It was not fear or sadness. It was something lighter. She was not used to it. After that visit, Valari asked to go out more often. She wanted to learn about Earth life. Logan took her to a museum, a flower shop, and a small music show. She was quiet most of the time, but her eyes sparkled with interest. Then one morning, Logan showed her a news report. It was from her home planet. The story said the king had sent Valari to Earth because she was not useful to him. Some said she was a burden, a forgotten child. Valari stared at the screen. Her hands shook. "So the truth is out." Logan turned off the screen. "People say many things. That doesn't make them true." "It is true," she said. "He never saw me, never cared. Sending me here was easy for him." Logan stood beside her. "It may be true that he didn't care, but you're not here because of him. You're here because you matter. You become important to people. To me." Her voice was soft. "To you?" He nodded. "Yes, I see you. Not as a princess, but as you." She looked away, but her eyes were wet. Later that day, Earth's news picked up the story. Some people felt angry at how Valari had been treated. Others began to support her. They saw her not as a strange alien, but as someone who had suffered. Her quiet dignity touched many. To help her feel better, Logan took her to a quiet lake. They sat on a wooden dock. The sun was setting. "Thank you," she said, her voice clearer. "For what?" "For treating me like I belong." He looked at her and smiled. "You do belong." Valari reached out and touched the water. It was cool and soft. "I used to dream of places like this, but I never thought they were real." "They are real," Logan said, "and so is this moment." For the first time, Valari leaned gently against his shoulder. He did not move. He just sat there, letting the silence speak. The sun went down, but neither of them wanted to leave. And in that quiet moment, something between them began to grow. Something that no treaty or agreement could force. Something real. The next weeks passed slowly but gently. Valari spent more time outside her room. She walked in the gardens, read books in the library, and sometimes helped the embassy staff with small tasks. Everyone noticed a change. She was still quiet, but there was a calm in her now. She was not just a guest anymore. She was part of their world. Logan watched her with quiet pride. He never pushed her. He just stayed close, ready to help. They spent most evenings together. Sometimes they walked through the embassy halls. Other times they sat on the rooftop, looking at the stars. Valari often asked questions about Earth. She was curious about simple things. How bread was made, why leaves changed color, why people danced. One night she asked, "Do humans always show feelings so easily?" Logan smiled. Not always, but many do. We believe feelings are part of being alive. She nodded slowly. On my world, showing feelings is seen as weakness. That sounds lonely. It is, she said. Their bond grew stronger each day. Logan no longer thought of Valari as a duty. He looked forward to seeing her. She laughed more now. Her laugh was soft and beautiful, like the sound of wind in the trees. Then, one morning, the calm was broken. A sharp sound rang through the embassy. Alarms. People ran. Logan pulled Valari into a safe room. "What is happening?" she asked, her voice shaking. "Stay here," Logan said. "I'll check." He stepped out and closed the door behind him. Guards moved quickly. Someone had tried to enter the embassy by force. They stopped the intruder, but not before damage was done. Logan returned to Valari. "You're safe now. It's over." She touched his arm. "You were not afraid?" He smiled. "I was a little, but I had to protect you." Valari looked at him in a way she never had before. "You keep doing that. Protecting me. It's not just about duty anymore. You matter to me." Valari was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "I don't want to be a symbol anymore. I want to be me." The next day, she wore human clothes for the first time. A simple dress, light blue. She looked different, more like one of them. People smiled at her. Some came to speak to her. She answered them kindly. News of the attack spread fast. The media wanted answers. A press meeting was called. Logan and Valari stood side by side. Cameras flashed. A reporter asked, "Princess, how do you feel about the dangers on Earth? Do you regret coming here?" Valari looked at the crowd. She took a deep breath. "I was sent here without a choice. At first, I was afraid. I felt alone. But now I see Earth not as danger, but as hope. I do not regret coming. I am grateful." Another reporter asked, "Is it true your father sent you here because he did not want you?" Valari looked down, then up. "Yes, that may be true. But I have found something better than a throne. I have found people who care." Logan reached for her hand. She did not pull away. The press meeting ended. That evening, they sat in the garden again. "You were brave today," Logan said. "I was shaking inside," Valari admitted, "but I had to speak. I had to show them I'm not weak." "You're not. You're one of the strongest people I know." She looked at him. "Do you ever wonder if this is real? Us." He took a deep breath. "I did, but not anymore. I know what I feel. I didn't expect this, but I'm glad it happened." She touched his hand. "So am I." From that day, things moved faster. Valari started helping in meetings between Earth and her homeworld. She shared ideas, spoke for peace, and showed others her strength. Many people were surprised by her wisdom. They had not expected much from the forgotten daughter, but now they listened. Some even asked if she might become her people's voice on Earth. Logan stood by her side. He never pushed her forward, but he always had her back. They were no longer just man and alien. They were partners. One night, under a soft sky, Valari said, "If I had the choice to leave, I would stay. Not because I have to, because I want to." Logan smiled. "You have the choice, and I'm glad you choose us." She looked at him for a long time. Then, quietly, she said, "I think I'm falling in love." He touched her hand gently. "I think I already have." The stars above them were the same, but everything else had changed. What began as duty was now something deep and true, and they both knew their story was only beginning. Valari walked through the embassy halls with confidence now. She no longer avoided the staff or kept her eyes low. People greeted her, and she greeted them back. She had become someone important, not because of her title, but because of who she was becoming. Logan noticed how she had changed. The sadness in her eyes had lessened. She smiled more and even laughed openly. It was a joy for him to see. One afternoon, Valari asked to visit a human school. She wanted to see how children learned. Logan arranged a quiet visit. When they entered the classroom, the children looked up with wide eyes. A small boy raised his hand. "Are you really from another planet?" Valari knelt down and smiled. "Yes, I am. My world is far from here, but I like it here better. The children laughed and crowded around her. She told them about her home, about the animals with silver fur and the glowing rivers. In return, they showed her drawings and toys. On the way back, Valari was quiet. Logan glanced at her. "What are you thinking?" She looked out the window. "I never had a childhood like that. I was trained, not raised." He reached over and touched her hand. "You're learning now. It's not too late." That evening, Logan prepared dinner. He made a simple human dish, roasted chicken with vegetables. Valari helped him. She chopped, stirred, and even tasted. "This is fun," she said with a small smile. "I never cooked before." "You're good at it," Logan said. As they ate, Valari looked at him. "Do you ever wonder what your life would be like if you hadn't saved my father?" Logan paused. "Sometimes. But then I look at you, and I don't want any other way." Valari looked down, her cheeks a little pink. "I'm glad you saved him. Not for him, but for me." That night, as they walked in the garden, a sudden sound broke the peace. A sharp buzz, a bright light. Logan turned fast. A small flying device moved toward them. Without thinking, Logan pushed Valari behind him. The device exploded with a loud crack. Logan fell to the ground. Valari screamed. She dropped beside him. His arm was bleeding. Guards rushed in. "Stay with me," Valari said, pressing her hand against his wound. Logan smiled weakly. "Still protecting you." "And now I will protect you," she whispered. Doctors treated Logan quickly. The injury was deep, but not deadly. He needed rest. Valari stayed by his side. She refused to leave the medical room. She held his hand and spoke softly. "I don't want to lose you. You were never just a guard to me. You became my heart." Logan opened his eyes. "You've always had mine." When Logan recovered enough to sit up, Valari sat beside him every day. She read to him, brought him food, and made sure he had everything he needed. One morning, he woke to find her asleep in the chair beside his bed, her hand still holding his. He smiled and whispered, "You stayed?" She opened her eyes slowly. "Always." The attack was reported on the news. Many were angry. People sent letters and messages of support. Some even came to the embassy gates with flowers and signs that read, "We stand with Valari." She was moved by the kindness. She spoke to the press again. "I will not be scared into silence. Earth is my home now, and I will work to bring peace between our worlds." Logan, still healing, watched her speak on screen. She stood tall, her voice clear. When she returned to him, he said, "You were amazing." She sat beside him and smiled. "I spoke from the heart, like you taught me." After some days, Logan was allowed to walk again. He and Valari stood together in the embassy garden. "I want us to have a real wedding," Valari said quietly. "Not because of duty, but because I choose you." Logan looked at her with warmth. "Then let's make it real." They planned a small ceremony. Only close friends and a few human leaders were invited. Valari wore a dress made by both human and Zarian designers. It blended styles from both worlds. When they exchanged vows, there were no long speeches, just simple words from the heart. "I see you," Logan said, "and I love who you are. You gave me a life I never knew I could have," Valari said, "and I love you for it." As they kissed, the room filled with soft applause. Two different people from two different worlds had chosen each other, not for politics, not for peace, but for love. Outside, stars shone over Earth, and in that moment, Valari knew she had found more than safety. She had found home. Valari stood in front of the large screen in the embassy meeting room. On the screen was her father, King Draval, his face cold and still. He had called for a direct communication. Valari knew why. The wedding had been reported across both worlds. "You married the human," the king said. "Yes," Valari answered. "I chose him." The king's eyes narrowed. "You were given to them as part of a life debt. That is all. Now you speak as if you were one of them." "I am more myself here than I ever was at home," Valari said. "I will not return." You speak of choice, the king said, but you forget duty. Valari looked straight into the screen. No, father, I remember duty, but I have learned something more important here. I have learned that being free is not a weakness. The screen went dark. Logan stepped beside her and placed a hand on her shoulder. He'll be angry, she said. But he can't control you anymore, Logan replied. Word spread fast across her homeworld. Some were shocked. Others whispered in support. For years, Valari had been silent, nearly invisible. Now she was making her own path. Earth officials offered her a place in the Interspecies Council. It was a group made to help peace talks between Earth and alien worlds. Valari accepted. She sat in meetings, listened to problems, and gave clear, fair advice. People began to trust her voice. She understood both sides. Her calm way of speaking made others listen. Logan watched her with pride. She was no longer the quiet girl who had arrived in fear. She was strong, smart, and kind. One day, after meeting, Valari walked outside and found Logan waiting with a small box. "What's that?" she asked. He smiled. "Something I made for you." She opened the box and found a necklace. It was simple, with a small silver circle in the middle. "It's made from earth silver and stone from your home," Logan said. "A piece of both worlds. Like you." Valari touched it gently. "It's beautiful." "So are you," he said. She wore the necklace every day. When people asked, she told them it was a gift from someone who believed in her before she believed in herself. As the months passed, more alien visitors came to Earth. Some were students. Some were diplomats. Valari helped each one understand human ways. She was patient and kind, but firm. One young alien girl asked her, "Is it true you used to be afraid of humans?" Valari smiled. "Yes, I was afraid because I didn't know them. But now I do, and I have never felt more welcome." The girl asked, "Do you miss your world?" Valari thought for a moment. "Sometimes. But Earth gave me something I never had before. A voice, a choice, and love." Logan and Valari lived in a small home near the embassy. It had a garden and a view of the stars. They spent quiet evenings there, away from politics and noise. Sometimes they sat on the porch, holding hands. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if we never met?" Valari asked one night. Logan looked at her. "I try not to. I'd rather think about what we built." She rested her head on his shoulder. "You saved me in more ways than one." He kissed her forehead. "And you showed me what it means to really connect." Though peace was growing, not everyone was happy. There were still people who doubted the bond between humans and aliens. Some thought Valari was too close to Earth. Others feared change. But Valari did not let fear stop her. She answered every question with grace. She told her story again and again, not to gain power, but to give others hope. One night, a large dinner was held at the council. Leaders from many worlds came. Valari stood up to speak. "I was sent here as a symbol. I had no voice, no choice. But I was given kindness. I was seen. And in being seen, I grew." She looked at Logan, then at the others. "I believe peace is not made through force. It is made when we choose to understand each other." There was a long silence. Then people stood and clapped. Logan stood with them, proud. That night, as they walked home, Valari said, "I used to dream of being free. Now I live it." Logan smiled. "And the world is better because you do." The stars above seemed brighter than before. Valari looked up and whispered, "I'm not just someone's daughter now. I'm myself." Logan squeezed her hand. "And that's more than enough." Together, they walked on, knowing there were still challenges ahead. But with every step, they moved forward, as partners, as leaders, as a love story that had surprised the stars. Valari sat at her desk, reading messages from across the galaxy. Many were kind words from students, leaders, and families who had seen her speeches or read about her life. Some messages came from her homeworld, sent in secret by people who supported her. Logan walked in with 2 cups of tea. He placed one in front of her. "You've been reading for hours." Valari took the cup and smiled. "It's hard to stop. So many voices, so many stories. Some of them remind me of myself. You're helping them, Logan said, just by being who you are. Valari nodded. I want to do more. A few days later, the council invited her to lead a new program. It was meant to help young aliens adjust to life on Earth. She would teach them about peace, respect, and understanding. Valari accepted. Her first class had students from 5 different planets. Some were shy, others curious. Valari welcomed each one with warmth. I came here afraid, she told them, but I learned that kindness changes everything. That's what I want to share with you. She taught them simple things: how to greet people, how to ask questions, how to listen. She also listened to their fears and hopes. Slowly, they opened up. One student, a girl from a desert planet, said, I didn't want to come here, but now I feel like I can find friends. Valari smiled. That's a good start. Logan visited the class one day. The students asked if he was really her husband. He laughed. Yes, I am, and very lucky to be. Valari blushed, but she smiled too. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Together, they helped build a small learning center next to the embassy. It had books, music, art supplies, and quiet spaces. Children from all backgrounds came there. It became a place of peace. While their work grew, so did their love. Every night, Logan and Valari shared dinner together. They talked about the day, about dreams of the future. Sometimes, Valari said one evening, I forget what it felt like to be afraid. Logan reached across the table and took her hand. That's because you've grown stronger. And you made Earth stronger too. One afternoon, an urgent message arrived. A political group on her homeworld had started spreading lies about Valari. They said she had betrayed her people, that she had become too human. Valari read the message with calm. They're afraid of change. Do you want to respond? Logan asked. No, she said. I will show them with actions, not words. The next week, a group of young leaders from her homeworld visited Earth. Valari met them with respect and kindness. She gave them a tour of the embassy, introduced them to students, and shared her story. One of the visitors asked, Do you ever wish you had stayed with your people? Valari replied, I am with my people now. Earth welcomed me. It gave me a chance to grow. And I will use that to help everyone, no matter where they come from. After the visit, one of the young leaders wrote her a message. Thank you. You made me think differently. More visitors came after that. Valari spoke at many events. She told the story of how peace started with a single choice, to see each other as equals. One evening, Logan found her in the garden, looking up at the stars. Do you miss your home? He asked. Sometimes, she said, but not the way I used to. I've made a new home here. With you. Logan stood beside her. You could have chosen anger. You could have chosen silence. But you chose peace. Because peace gives others a chance, she said. And love keeps that peace alive. The council offered Valari a new title, Earth Ambassador to United Alien Worlds. It was a big role, one that came with great responsibility. She accepted with pride. At the ceremony, Logan stood beside her as she received the honor. People clapped, some with tears in their eyes. She gave a short speech. I was once sent to Earth as a symbol, but I stayed because I was seen as a person. Let us build a future where every voice matters and every heart is heard. After the ceremony, Logan hugged her tight. Ambassador Valari, I always knew you were meant for something great. She looked into his eyes. I was meant to find you, and with you I found myself. That night, they returned home and sat on their porch. The sky was quiet. The stars above them shined bright. Valari held his hand. Do you think the stars can hear us? Logan smiled. If they can, I hope they know your story. It's a good one. And in that peaceful moment, surrounded by silence and light, Valari knew she had become more than what her past had made her. She had become a bridge, a guide, and a symbol of hope. Valari stood at the edge of the landing platform, her eyes fixed on the ship in front of her. It was the same kind of ship that brought her Earth long ago, but this one was taking her back to her home world. Not forever, just for a visit. She needed to close the chapter that had started all of this. Logan walked up beside her. You sure you want to do this? She nodded. I need to. Not for them. For me. He squeezed her hand. I'll be waiting when you get back. I know, she said with a soft smile. The ship took her across the stars, back to the place she once called home. When she landed, her sisters met her. They looked surprised, not because she had returned, but because of how different she was now. You look strong, one of them said. I am, Valari replied. She met with her father in the royal hall. The room was as cold and silent as she remembered. King Draval sat on his throne. So the Earth Girl returns. I came to tell you something, she said. He raised an eyebrow. And what would that be? I forgive you, she said simply. Not because you asked, but because I will not carry your anger anymore. He said nothing for a long time. Then he nodded once. You have become more than I ever expected. Valari did not smile. I became what you never let me be. She turned and left without another word. Before returning to Earth, she visited the old places she once hid in. Gardens where she used to sit alone. Halls where no one listened to her. But now she walked tall. People bowed. Servants whispered her name with respect. When she finally boarded the ship home, she felt light, like she had set something down, and didn't need to carry it anymore. Logan was waiting at the landing pad, just like he promised. When she stepped off the ship, he opened his arms, and she walked into them without a word. Welcome home, he said. It really is home, she whispered. Life moved on. Valari continued her work as Earth's ambassador. She traveled to new worlds, helped new people, and told her story where it mattered most. Her work helped create a network of shared learning between Earth and other planets. People from across the stars came to visit and study. They came not just for science or trade, but for peace. One day, Valari and Logan were invited to the signing of a new peace treaty between several alien nations. It was the largest event of its kind. Valari stood at the front, next to Logan, as leaders signed the documents. A young reporter asked her, How did this all begin? Valari smiled. It began with a single moment. A man saving a life. A girl being sent away. But it grew into something beautiful. The reporter asked, Do you ever regret what happened? She shook her head. No, because I found love and I found purpose. That's more than I ever hoped for. After the treaty, Logan and Valari took a break from their work. They traveled across Earth. They visited mountains, oceans, and small, quiet towns. I want to see everything, Valari said. Not just the big things. The small, simple places, too. In a tiny village near a forest, they stayed in a small cabin. No reporters, no meetings. Just them. One night, as they watched fireflies in the garden, Logan looked at her. Do you ever wonder what kind of life we'll have years from now? Valari nodded. I think it will be quiet. Maybe we'll grow our own food. Maybe I'll teach children. And I'll build things, he said. A house. A garden. Maybe a tree house. She laughed. For the children? He smiled. Maybe. Or for us. She leaned against him. Whatever comes, we'll face it together. Time passed. Valari became a symbol of hope and strength across many worlds. But to Logan, she was still the same girl who had once sat silent by a window, staring at the stars. And to her, Logan was still the human who gave her a cup of hot chocolate and asked nothing in return. They grew old together, not with power or wealth, but with love and peace. And every night, they sat under the same sky. No matter how far they had gone, the stars always looked down on them with gentle light. Valari once said, Home is not a place, it is a person. And Logan replied, Then we'll never be lost. Their story became legend, a tale told across planets, not just about politics or peace, but about love that crossed the stars. And it all began with a single act of kindness. The end.